So for those of you who know me, know that I am a huge book nerd. And so recently I have started doing book reviews on what I'm reading. My goal in 2020 is to read 150 books. I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is A Miracle Morning. If you've never read The Miracle Morning, I highly recommend you pick it up. But in the morning I wake up, I pray, I read a personal development book focused on my business, I read my Bible, I journal, etc. And then at night, in an effort to spend less time on my phone because I work from my phone, I put my phone down at 7 o'clock. I go to bed anywhere between 7:30 and 8:30 and I read. I just renewed my library card. I've probably read 30 books in the past couple of months. And so I figured that a good lofty goal, or a BHAG as we used to call them when I was in sales, is a big hairy ass or audacious goal, depending on what you want to call it, is to read 150 books. So this one I just finished night before last. It is called A Sound Among the Trees. I don't know if your library is this way. I love our new library. They just rebuilt it a few years ago. Excuse me, but it has an entire section upstairs for Christian fiction, which is amazing because I've had to close a couple of books in order to keep, the integrity of my brain intact and to not fill myself with things I don't want to be full of. So I instantly now go to the Christian fiction section, and I love that there is a plethora of books for me to choose from. And so this book, A Sound Among the Trees, isn't anything at all like I thought it was going to be when I first picked it up. Susan Misner is the author. I don't know if that's really how you pronounce it, but she's a multi-published author and speaker. And this book is about, I love historical fiction. And I thought that this was gonna be, in a sense, it is a historical fiction book, but it's based in present day. So this woman thinks that her grandmother, there's a rumor around town that her grandmother was a Civil War spy. They live in the South, and it was rumored that her grandmother, Susanna, was a Union spy. And it turns out that all of these letters were buried, and the letters are recovered, and all of these things tend to happen, but it is like she has this feeling, Adele is her name, that her aunt or her grandmother haunts this house. And that's what people say. One of her best friends brings in her, I think, niece or cousin who is a medium, and they want to read the house or whatever. And she has a drug addict daughter who ran away years ago, left her with her own daughter who ended up dying at a very young age. And so now the husband of the granddaughter who died has remarried, and in an effort to give their children, her great-grandchildren and his new wife, a place to live, she recommends that they live with her in this big mansion in the South. And so the new wife, who doesn't really have any ties to the community, she doesn't have any ties to the home, she starts to hear about all these curses and these ghost stories, and she really becomes intrigued by the story of this house in the Civil War. And so as things begin to transpire, you really start to think, oh my gosh, this house is cursed, this family is cursed, it's all the women in the house that these horrible things happen to. And then one day the drug addict sister who has found God returns, and all of these things start coming to light, and the letters are discovered. And so we go through and actually read the letters, and they're set back in the 1860s, in the middle of the Civil War, when Union soldiers have overtaken their town and actually set up a hospital in their parlor. And so it's rumored that there are Union soldiers who haunt this house, and it's this woman, Susanna Page, who is rumored to be the spy, who's writing letters to her cousin and is explaining all of these things and how they go. So no one has ever found these letters. Adele gave them to her daughter, the drug addict, who ended up hiding them in the house, never to be found again until she returns many years later. And so as you go through, you find out the real story of this book. And I read this in 2 nights. I have a really bad tendency to read 307-page books in 2 nights, which is why I go to bed at 7:30 or 8:30, so that I can read until 10:30 or 11 and still get my 8 hours of sleep. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on when I get up. So I would highly recommend this book. It's, in the end, it's a story of, I don't want to tell you, it's a happy ending, but it didn't end it all the way that I thought. You know, after the ghost stories and all of these things start to happen, you know, and things are found out, it's a good story, it's a happy story, but it didn't end at all like I thought it would. So I would highly recommend this book, A Sound Among the Trees. She also wrote The Shape of Mercy and Lady in Waiting, so I will definitely be picking up a couple of her other books once I get through the stack that I have in my room. So stay tuned. I'm going to be posting a book review about once a week, so anytime you need a good recommendation on a book, just tune back to my channel, and I'm excited to share with you the things that I read in 2020, and that will be a mix of fiction, nonfiction, whatever tends to trip my trigger at the time. So I hope you pick up this book. If you do, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. And just take care and have a great day. Read books, books are so good. Take care, God bless.